Damn, that theme is so hypnotic. What's up, everyone on the internet? Thank you for making this video part today. I am so excited about this one for you guys because we're finally in November, and I figured, why not try something new and talk about stories from video games? And what better way to start things off than by talking about the game that changed the way we look at storytelling, Halo. So some of the reasons on why I want to talk about Halo story mode is, one, I obviously ran out of movies and anime to talk about, but I also see how there is so much lore and mythology in this franchise, and the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? Maybe I should make a Halo video. So for the month of November, we're gonna be taking a look at the first Halo trilogy, and we're gonna start things off with the first Halo game that came out back in 2001. And one of my earliest memories of this game was one day I was visiting my cousin who had an Xbox, and once he popped in the disc, the moment the main menu came up, my mind was blown. I mean, hearing the main theme play as the menu shows us this large ring in space, it drew me in because while the theme seemed kind of spooky to a small child, it also made me want to listen to it more and more until I became obsessed with what this game was about. Only thing is, at the time was I was a PlayStation kid, and it wasn't until the early days of YouTube where I discovered the story mode, and once I discovered what Halo was, I was completely hooked onto the series. But like I said, Halo came out back in 2001 as it was the first game to be released for the Xbox, and going into the story, I love how the game puts you right in the middle of a war between the human race and an alien army known as the Covenant. And one of the things that I noticed in the first few minutes of the game is that it is very similar to Star Wars: A New Hope, where you have these underdogs being chased in space by a much stronger enemy until their ship is boarded and they land on a strange planet. Now, looking at our cast of characters, our main character is Master Chief, who by now is a household name given how he's been pretty much the mascot for Xbox. And we also have his AI companion Cortana, who is also a familiar name because, I mean, Microsoft made their version of Siri with a character who has been with them since 2001, which makes me wonder, when are we ever going to get Jarvis AI? I mean, that would be pretty cool. Anyway, the story focuses on these two characters as they explore this giant ring in space known as Halo, and I love how the tone gives you a sense of ancient, epic, and mysterious when you first arrive on Halo, as you see these alien ruins in this large landscape, which makes you wonder who built this place. And initially, we're led to believe that Halo is a weapon built by the Forerunners, and whoever controls Halo controls the universe. Fast forward more into the game, and we learn that Halo is indeed a weapon, but it's meant to wipe out a parasite known as the Flood. However, the only way to destroy the Flood completely is by starving them to death, which means wiping out their food source, which is all sentient life. And let me tell you, when I first played Halo, when I encountered the Flood for the first time, it was probably the most terrifying thing a kid could ever experience. I mean, who would ever thought that walking into a library would be a living nightmare? If you know, you know.
The installation was specifically built to stop.
You shut up! I'm so fucking scared right now, you shut up!
And even when you hear the theme for the Flood play, it puts you on your toes because in a matter of seconds, you're about to be in for the fight of your life against space zombies. Now, one of the reasons why the story mode Halo is so interesting is how it slightly touches on its history without ever showing us the entire story, allowing us to come back and learn more about this universe. Any other game would have told us the entire story, but by doing that, if they showed us the entire Human Covenant War and the history of the Forerunners, the awakening of the Flood, and the construction of Halo, it would have been too overwhelming and the story would have fell apart. And I also like how there is no singular villain, at least for the majority of the game, as we are solely focused on defeating the Covenant and the Flood as a whole. However, once we get more than halfway through the game, we do come across a character known as 343 Guilty Spark, who's a machine that monitors the Halo ring. And one of the things that I love about this character is how he is neither good nor evil. He simply calculates the best possible outcome. So when the Flood begins to run rampant across Halo, activating the ring is the only logical decision. And looking at how this character functions, I love how he is very similar to Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey, where both characters show zero emotion and rely solely on data in order to fulfill their duties, even if it means killing people. Now, going back to Chief and Cortana, another thing that I loved about this duo is how they are polar opposites that depend on one another, because while Master Chief is the more serious of the two, Cortana is the smirky, quick-witted character, which is where we get some slight humor throughout the story. And I love how that when you look at these two characters, you kind of wonder who is really the machine and who really is the human, given how Master Chief is a soldier who follows orders, where Cortana is an AI who sometimes does what she thinks is best. And when you look at their relationship, Cortana helps Chief become more human by bending the rules a little, while Master Chief gives Cortana a little strict guidance. And what also makes Master Chief so likable is how you never see his face, and this allows us to see ourselves as the hero of the story. Fun fact, when I first saw Halo, when I saw how the game ended, I spent countless hours on YouTube trying to find out what he looked like underneath that helmet.
Halo. It's finished.
No, I think we're just getting started.
Sadly, I never succeeded, but one last thing that I loved about this game was the music, because looking back at my childhood, while I loved listening to songs from Star Wars, it was Halo that exposed me to more composed soundtracks. And I love how every bit of the soundtrack is different, where you have a soundtrack dedicated to the human marines, there's an iconic theme for the Halo ring, and there's also a hint of horror that reminds you of the Flood. Now, what makes the Halo theme so iconic is how it is something that anyone can perform. I mean, you don't need to be a musician to sing the first few notes, and you don't need to have his pitch perfect voice. You can just sing it right at the front gate, and if you have friends who have a passion for Halo, you can all sing together. So overall, in terms of storytelling, I loved this game, as it shows you only a glimpse of this vast universe that is ancient, epic, and mysterious, without ever overwhelming us, but it's still enough for us to come back and learn more about this ring. Well, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. That was my overall review for Halo. If you like what you saw, hit the subscribe button so you always updates from this channel. I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye-bye.